Welcome to Lucas's Philippines.
So today I'm going to make a Filipino dish called Kare Kare. And this, what you're looking at here, is a banana stem. And to prepare a banana stem for soups and stuff, there's this stuff on the outside, and you just peel it off so that it looks like that. And then slice it up, and when you slice it, there's going to be strings on the inside of it, and you just keep peeling the strings away because you don't really want the stringy part, but you do want the slices. Once you get the slices, then you soak it in some water with salt or lime juice to keep it from getting oxidized and turning that color. So this is just the prep work. The other part of the prep work is in there. You're using, well, I'm using beef. Usually it's oxtail or tripe or a combination, but I'm just using regular beef cut into chunks. And the reason I say they're the part of the prep work, as you can see, the fire is on. You want to boil it for a little while before you cook it, so that way it's already cooked. But then you know, when you cook it again, you're actually just frying the outside of it. This makes the meat tender. So there's going to be more to it, but for now I'm just showing you the prep work. So this is what the finished sliced product of the banana stems look like. And leave those soaking in water for a while, at least an hour or so they get nice and tender as well. They're already kind of tender, but I mean, if you ever have to cook with it, you'll know what I mean. And yeah, so that's what those look like. Another part of the prep work is making atsuete oil, because the recipe I'm using calls for a few tablespoons of atsuete oil. They didn't have it at the store, so I had to buy some. I had to buy some atsuete. Should be able to see that. Atsuete, yeah. Those. And to make atsuete oil, all you do is warm up some base oil, like whatever kind of oil you're going to use that doesn't have its own flavor really, or has a really mild flavor, because you want this flavor, and you put these in it. I'll show you how that works when I get to it, but for now I just needed to do this little bit of prep work to get started. Making the atsuete oil, as you can see, and you don't need to wait for the oil to heat up to put the atsuete in it, and also you don't want the oil to be like sizzling when you do it, or you'll end up with a bitter taste. What you're looking for, as you might be able to see, is for the color change, and when you see the oil start to bubble, this hasn't done it yet, when you see the oil start to bubble, turn off the fire, because yeah, that's when it's getting too much. And you want to be careful with this oil because it stains everything horribly and doesn't come out. And I only needed a quarter cup of this oil, so that's all I made. I save the extra for later. This oil keeps for about a week. You don't need to put it in the fridge or anything like that, but you do need to use it. So this is the next part of the preparation. I don't have a harness or a head strap or any of that yet still, So since I'm working with one hand, I'll just be starting and stopping this video at each preparation stage. And don't worry, I'll try to get the most of it in there for you. So here is the rest of the ingredients. The recipe calls for 4 eggplant, but the store had them in bundles of 3 and didn't have any single ones out to choose your own. You want string beans, and yeah, they really are a string. They're kind of funny. 1 head of garlic, and 2 onions diced, some pechay, it's kind of like a lettuce. There's the banana stem, still soaking. Turned kind of brown, but I think that's sap. Peanut butter. I'm going to use 3 cups of peanut butter. Some bagoong, that's sauteed shrimp paste. Here's the color of the suete oil. Nice dark red on it. That oil, the purpose of it is to add some color, but it also adds a flavor. And I'm finishing up the simmering of the beef to make it nice and tender. I'm probably going to chop some of those up a little bit smaller before I cook them, but on a side note, you do want to save the water that you boil these in because you use it in the rest of the recipe. The recipe calls for 8 cups of water. Try to make most of that water your beef water, because that's some valuable flavor there. But anyways, these need to be chopped. These need to be chopped. I think those are chopped. I gotta look at the recipe again. I will include the link to the recipe that I'm using. The only thing I'm not using that's in the recipe is 1/4 cup of toasted smashed rice, which according to my wife is just to help thicken the sauce, so I'll probably just use a little bit of cornstarch for that. Not so much flavor. I guess it would give a rice flavor, but we'll see. So I'll get back to you as soon as all this stuff starts going in the pot. Okay, so here we are. I've got all the ingredients ready to go. Like I said, the 2 onions, the pechay I did end up slicing. These are the string beans, now sliced smaller, and the beef, now sliced smaller. And there is the beef stock. It says 8 cups of water. I don't think that's 8 cups, so I'll be adding this and regular water. I have this in the wok, or kawali, whatever you prefer to call it, because you don't want the seeds, you just want just the oil. So I'll be using that to strain it out. So here we go. Heat the oil, suete oil and the regular oil. So 1/4 cup suete oil. And 1/2 cup of regular oil. Turn this down so I don't burn my shit before I even get going. Good enough. Set this over here. Time to clean up in a second. 1/2 cup. That oil saute your garlic and onions, obviously. Garlic until it's golden brown, onions to get them translucent. And then, what is this? Already forgot. Garlic and onions, golden brown, then add beef, peanut butter. I'm guessing the water goes in there at some point in time. It doesn't say, but they always miss it. Garlic. More garlic. Drop my hands because that shit's sticky. Well, the sweaty oil makes it kind of hard to tell when the garlic is golden brown, but you can always smell it. It's golden red. Do it now. Get to the chopper. Always let the garlic go a little bit first because each ingredient you add kind of bring down the temperature of your oil. And the next thing going is onions. Those go for a minute or so. Then add the stuff. Open up the peanut butter. So that's ready to go when it's time to happen. Shit, if I can ever get it open. Tab. Once you got your onions in there, you don't really have to worry too much about it burning unless you've got your fire cranked up to fucking temperature of the sun. No, I'm not speaking Japanese. That's the word for beef. Baka. Beef. Next part is to brown your beef. Put it in there, brown it. It is kind of brown from the boiling, but this kind of brown. Onions are kind of soft, getting going. Get it all coated on, get the beef all coated at least before you stop stirring and go back to getting things ready to dump in the pot. Turn up the fire a little bit. Water before the peanut butter. You can see the meat getting a little bit of color on it. That one right there. Got some brown on it. This part takes about 5 minutes. Good enough. I ended up with 3 cups of stock, so that means I've got to add 5 cups of water. You want to bring this to a boil before you add anything else, especially the peanut butter, being as thick as it is. The heat from the water will help it spread out and make a good sauce. One thing you can add at this point, I guess, would be the bagoong, the shrimp paste, because that stuff, it's not really that thick. It's not really that thick. Stir up your bagoong nice and good before you start scooping it out, otherwise you're going to end up with a lot of oil and not so much bagoong. Refrigerate after opening. nicely. Stuff can come to a boil anytime now. Alright, I'll stop here until it comes to a boil and the action starts again. Okay, so I've added the peanut butter, and it took the entire jar of peanut butter for the 3 cups. So a jar of peanut butter was 700 grams. That's how much peanut butter is in here. You're saying, oh, if you've never had this before, you might be wondering, why the hell is so much peanut butter? Well, it's a peanut butter, well, it's a peanut sauce. And, you know, peanut butter is like kind of the equivalent of a good soup base, I guess. Anyways, the next part, let's see here, what does the next part say? I think it says to add in the vegetables, which would make sense. I've got peanut butter on my hands. Turn down the fire before I burn shit. Burn down the house. I don't know what the hell that was, but anyways. Oh, wonderful. There we go. Let me simmer for 15 minutes. Okay, good thing I didn't throw those in there yet then. So, now that the peanut butter is in there, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. The toasted rice thing is supposed to probably thicken this. I'm just going to add some cornstarch. It calls for a 1/4 cup of the toasted rice. I don't think it's going to take that much cornstarch to thicken the sauce. So I'm probably going to use maybe like 1/8 of a cup, which is 2 tablespoons. So I'll throw that in there and put a lid on this and let it simmer. And that's what will be happening between now and the time I turn the video back on. And at that point, I'll be adding the veggies so you can check that out. Oh, and in between there I'll be doing up the dishes because, yeah. Alright, see you soon. Okay, so this is the thickness I'm looking for in my sauce, and it's been going for 15 minutes, and I was right, the 2 tablespoons of cornstarch was definitely enough. My wife seems to think that maybe 1 would have been better, but I don't like runny sauce. So, time to add in the veggies. Some eggplant. Bananas. Banana stem. I like my bananas. Stir that in. Seriously, I need more towels. So far I have the eggplant and the banana stem in there. Some recipes will say banana heart, but what you really want is the banana stem. Because if you see pictures of this, it's not a banana heart, or what people are calling a banana heart, it's the banana stem. Next is the string beans. Otherwise known as sitaw. Stir those in. I do the pechay last because, well, any leafy vegetable when added to hot wilts, and you'll end up with bunches, like little balls of wilted up leaves. nice and stirred in there. Once I get all the veggies in there, it's really about another 5 minutes or 10 minutes maybe at the most. And then it's done. It's really I'm just warming up the veggies. Watch my stirring so I don't go over the backside of the pot. That'd not be good. I'm going to put the lid on it. Let heat take place and do its thing. So, in just a few minutes, I will come back and you'll see the finished product. And here is the finished product. Served on top of rice. As far as I know, that's the right way to serve it. But yeah, tastes pretty good. I haven't eaten off of this one yet because this is the first plate, but I've been tasting as I went, which is what you should do. There you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.